Now, 2022 saw COVID-19 lockdowns lifted in much of the world, but the pandemic has been synonymous with an increased use of tech, from social media engagement to video conferencing and online streaming of films and television. Let's talk more about bits of 2022 in the world of tech. Of course, we have our network senior producer and presenter, Siphumelele Zondi, who, of course, joins us live now. Now, Network, of course, is our tech news program. Siphumelele, thank you so much for your time. I'm glad you're not out and about yet and you've got time to talk to us this evening. Now, let's start with Elon Musk. I mean, from the beginning of the year to now, Elon Musk and social media have been the big tech story. Did he manage, though, to save Twitter as he'd claimed?
Hello, Bongiwe. Well, the thing is, was Twitter problematic or in a need for someone to save it to begin with? Well, he seemed to think so, and that's why he made a pledge to buy Twitter. And then what then happened saw basically a relationship between him and top management of Twitter and those that owned Twitter at the time going awry, because after he said he was going to buy the platform, he then wanted to pull back from the pledge to buy the platform. Then they were taking him to court over it. And it's essentially that decision that a lot of people are saying made him eventually buy it, because court was going to twist his arm and he wasn't going to get his way on pulling out of it. So did he manage to save it? Well, it seemed like there were a lot of problems that followed after he bought Twitter. He started by getting rid of thousands of staff members, and this includes top management, including the CEO of Twitter, and that could have created further problems. This past Wednesday, there was a blackout of Twitter in much of the world. He's done an interview where he said, about a week ago, he did an interview where he was asked about this, and he said, well, it's early days, essentially admitting that there have been problems, especially since him purchasing the platform, and that he hasn't quite saved it. And he put up a poll where millions of people, of Twitter users, said actually he shouldn't be running Twitter, he should get somebody else to run Twitter. And his response to that was that in future polls that affect policy, he will not be allowing everybody who's on Twitter to vote. He will just be allowing paying people who are part of the Twitter Blue platform, and people pay to use that Twitter Blue platform, because I guess it didn't go his way when millions and millions of people said, well, actually, you shouldn't be running this platform. You should get somebody else to run for you.
And we still have one word for him: the edit button. So maybe not. Let's see if it'll come. But Siphumelele,
it needs to come.
It needs to come, because certainly we just would like sometimes to edit the tweets that we've just sent. But let's see what he has in store for us. Now, Siphumelele, cryptocurrency, we saw it having a good run in the beginning stages of the pandemic. A lot of people taking up to this. But it looks like that successful growth seemed to end somewhat in 2022. What happened?
You would remember that it was doing really well in 2020, 2021, its highest growth levels being in November 2021. Then 2022 came. It's world markets, really, because it's linked to world economies. It's the financial markets crashing all over the world, really. And that's what led to Twitter as a platform that some people use to invest, as a platform that some people use to make purchases. Then it came crashing together with world markets that came crashing. But there was a positive that came with that, right? Because there are certain governments that said they will allow wider usage of the platform, and they will start regulating the platform. But it's also because, I suppose, they feel that there is money that's doing the rounds, that's going around making certain purchases that they can't regulate, that they can't get. We do know that even in South Africa, one of the retailers, Pick n Pay, has even said that they have started taking Bitcoin as as a unit, as a currency that one can use to make purchases as well, alongside the South African rand. So it's not all doom and gloom. Yes, it did come crashing down in terms of value, but at the same time, with wider regulation and more government saying that they will be regulating the platform, we are seeing wider usage of the platform in different spaces.
And let's look at Netflix. I mean, those are the visuals on screen. You know, Netflix seeing the biggest growth in 2020 and 2021, but Showmax not letting up as well, reporting a good viewership. But then we now have our own SABC Plus launching. A lot of people excited about that. What's needed, though, for a successful streaming service?
Totally. As Netflix and Showmax and others, whether it's your Amazon Prime and many others that exist, they've realized that they need to localize the content, and they constantly need to get content or commission content that is unique to the platform, that starts on the platform itself. And that's probably the direction that SABC Plus would then have to take in order to look at new, fresh, local content that is unique to SABC Plus, because we've realized with Netflix, for example, as much as it is American, it's gone on to commission shows like Lupin from France, which became one of its biggest shows, Squid Game from South Korea, which became its biggest show. Here in South Africa as well, there were shows like Queen Sono, for example, Kings of Joburg, for example, and others. So that's the direction that it seems like a lot of these platforms realize that they need to take. In whichever territory that you are in, you need to localize the content so people can then watch fresh content. And we have realized that because of the international nature of the internet and some of these platforms, certain shows become bigger even in territories outside the intended country or intended territory. For example, when you think about a South African platform that is on Showmax, for example, a South African show, The Real Housewives of Durban. It was a Showmax only or Showmax first show. Now it's popular in America. Other platforms in America have taken on The Real Housewives of Durban. So this is what the internet and these platforms can do. So for SABC Plus to be a success, like the others, there needs to be fresh content that speaks to the viewer, that is local to the territory, and in this case, the first territory being South Africa.
And there's going to be lots happening in the tech space, exciting times ahead. One thinks about artificial intelligence and all of that, but we have to leave it there. Spumelelo, thank you so much for your time. I'm yet to pluck up the courage to watch Squid Games, so I'm not really one of those that would have watched.
Show, you need to try it out.
I'm not sure. We'll see. Thank you so much, though, for your time. All the best for 2023. That's Network Senior Producer and Presenter Spumelelo Zondi.